What the hell is this? This is a Studio Series 100 Bumblebee from Rise of the Beasts. Now this is how the figure comes straight out of the box, and one of the first things we need to do is rotate the chest pieces on both sides just like so. Now looking at this figure, it does look very nice. Now while the head sculpt doesn't look too bad, the eyes look horrible. I'm not a big fan of the color of paint they used, but a closer look at the head sculpt, you can see that little area for the Autobot insignia, and I think the mechanical nature of his face looks great along with that silver paint. And yeah, the head sculpt is really nice. Here's a look at the back, there's a little bit of detail. Underneath that in this area, you can see some stuff going on as well. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how to describe that. You have that bumper at the top, which we will see more in the vehicle mode of the figure. You have that chest piece, which is similar to Bumblebee in the other movies. And this is one of the better looking chest pieces I have seen on a Bumblebee figure. It looks very sleek and clean along with that nice silver paint going through it. The arms have a nice yellow molded plastic with some silver paint on them. You can see a little bit of detail in this area. It really does look very nice and mechanical. You have a little bit of extra detail on the shoulder piece. I really don't like how the hands are molded onto the arms, so they have no rotation of their own. And then you can see some of the paint applications on the hand. Unfortunately though, it has bled over into other areas of the figure. This seems to be a recurring thing with Hasbro figures because my Legacy Elite 1 has the same issue as well. Get your shit together, Hasbro. You have some nice intricate detail in the abdomen area. Down over to the legs, pretty basic over here, you have some of the silver paint. More of the legs down here with a really nice sculpt and a little bit of silver paint and some detail. You see that? You see the little detail right there? Down over to the feet, it kind of looks like he's wearing shoes in my opinion. You can see some of the simple sculpt work it has on this side as well as the other side. Now the figure has a good weight to it, which is really nice. If we take a look at the back, you can see some more inside car details on the doors. A very flat backpack, which is nice. Further down to the legs, not too much to say there. Down over here are the feet, which form the back part of the vehicle mode. Kind of like how G1 Bumblebee's feet were the front of its vehicle mode. There are a few hollow spots throughout the figure, mainly on the arms and a little bit on the legs, but not too much, which is really nice. For articulation, the head can move up and down. You can spin it a full 360. These little chest pieces can move, mainly for the transformation though. They can also be a little bit difficult to work with. The arms can rotate, but this does get in the way unfortunately. The arms can also move out about that high and rotate over there. There's also a elbow bend. And like I said earlier, the hand is attached to the arm, so there is no rotation there. These doors can move. I really do wish this could move back so we could get more of an arm rotation. You get some rotation at the waist, which can go all the way around. These legs can move out to the side. You can bring them forward, and you can bring them back. You can rotate the legs like so, and a 90-degree knee bend. The feet can't move forward or back, which is unfortunate, but you do get a side-to-side pivot, which is nice, as well as a full 360 foot rotation. You get his blaster, which has a really nice mold to it. Not as good looking as the B127 version, in my opinion. You can see the molds of the two are very different. This one is also cast in a yellow plastic and then covered in paint. I definitely think I like this one a lot better. Next, we have the sword, which is kind of disappointing. It's all yellow plastic, and it really would have been nice to give it some paint, which I might do on my own. This sword tabs into this side of the arm, and it really does just blend in with the rest of the figure because of the lack of paint. The blaster just plugs in right over here into the hand, and there he is sporting both of his weapons. There is also weapon storage at the back. Basically, you can place this right over there, and it seems like it stays in place pretty well. For the blade, just tab it in on there like so, and I'm really surprised the connection isn't loose on either of these. And since I kind of just skipped over the box art, here's a quick look at that. You have Bumblebee looking really cool over there, some of that artwork on the side, and here's the other side, and then here's a look at the back of the box, and then here is the backdrop of what seems to be a volcano. I feel like that's kind of obvious. And then it's kind of hard to see, but you can see some of the tire tracks. Here he is next to other Studio Series Bumblebee figures. He's a bit taller than B127 and a bit shorter than Dark of the Moon Bumblebee. And in terms of design, I think this one looks the best, especially when compared to the Dark of the Moon Bumblebee, which I do like, but next to this, it looks kind of like a jumbled mess. Here he is next to a KO of the Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime, RC from the Bumblebee movie, Starscream from the Bumblebee movie, and Human Alliance Bumblebee. Side by side with the B127 Bumblebee, you can't see a lot of the differences between the two figures. This one obviously doesn't have the door wings on it, and it has a battle mask. The back on this is also much less appealing than the one on here, and compared to the Dark of the Moon Bumblebee, you can see the head sculpts are vastly different. They do share some similarities, like the chest pieces and the door wings, and the chest on this looks much better than the one on here. Now luckily the transformation on here is very easy to do. First, let's go back to the legs, what you want to do is flip these pieces out on the legs. Now we can rotate the feet and bring them in, rotate this piece like so, and then get it to line up in place. Now go ahead and just do the same exact thing on the other side. Now we can bring the legs together, which can be a little bit tricky. The best way is to hook that piece and then snap it in. Now what we want to do is fold out this entire back section. So now that we've done that, we need to do the chest pieces, and we're not going to make them straight like that. We're going to bring them down to where both of these pieces are angled like this. It's very important, trust me. Now we just untab the chest. Now we can untab the chest piece, bringing it up so that way we can connect the top piece to the front of the car, and then just push it into place. And that's why these pieces need to be angled down instead of straight, so this would be easier to tab in. To finish up the top section, we just need to tab it into place. Now close both of the doors, make sure that head is straight, and now bring in the arms like so. Now rotate them to where they're facing like this, make sure that's orientated the right way. Bring in the wheels and snap them into place. Lastly, bring the arms down. And there is a place for them to tab into. And here is the vehicle mode for Bumblebee. It is a really nice looking vehicle mode. I really like how it's basically just an off-road version of what we saw from the 2007 movie. I like the extra bumper pieces here. You have some very nice headlights going on. You can see a bit of the grille. You have this reinforced piece here with some lights up at the top. You have the classic 2 stripes going through the top of the car mode. Some nice rugged off-road wheels. Now I don't like how the arms stick out at the bottom. It looks really ugly in my opinion. It really ruins the side profile of the car mode, and it is the worst thing about the figure. At the back you have this thing, I don't know what it's called. And here at the back of the vehicle mode, you have this nice little reinforced piece. This section is mostly black with some red taillights. Here's a quick look at the underneath of the figure, and this is a very nice vehicle mode, probably one of my favorites for Bumblebee, minus this part right here. Now there is weapon storage. The blade will tab into this section right over there, and for the blaster you just put it on the back, and they do hold in place. One issue I do have with the vehicle mode is that this part right here isn't completely flush. You can see there's a gap over here and a gap between the windows. Overall though, this figure is really nice, and I would recommend getting it. Now if you want to see a review of an oversized bootleg Bumblebee, check that out over here.